What's up, everybody? I am Robert Carden Jr., the host of This Is the Deal on YouTube.
And I'm Seth-Collins Sheley, the man behind all the content at AAT.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Brinson. I'm the owner of Advanced Auto Transfers.
And welcome to our podcast, How to Be a Boss with Chrissy Brinson. We want to just help everyone succeed, offering business tips, offering advice, and, we just want to see everybody win. What better way to do that than to, bring in our own boss, Miss Chrissy. So let's get started. Just to give a little bit of a background of myself, I, again, host This Is the Deal on YouTube for AAT. Been doing that for almost a year. I actually hosted my own podcast a few years ago called Everything But Politics, and I put it on hold because it was just too much. And I reached, I believe, like 100 episodes with that. What else? I have been doing radio and audio stuff for as long as I can remember. I'm currently the digital content manager here at AAT, so the stuff that you see on our website, on Facebook, and things like that comes from me and Seth, and from Chrissy, from her mind.
You don't have to give me credit for the stuff that y'all do.
You pay for it, so you get
all
credit.
you. It's all you.
You pay for it, so you get built-in
just gave
credit.
like a whole subtle shout out on himself.
Yeah.
I feel like
y'all
that's
go check out my old.
Yeah, I feel like that's important. People need to know that they can trust us and we know what we're talking about.
Like, y'all go check out my old podcast.
Do not go check out my old podcast. I
Bring
took
it
it off
back
the
to
internet.
life, friend.
I will one day. But when I bring it back, I will be talking about politics, because it was part of the reason I stopped is because it was so hard trying to find stories and stuff to talk about that was not politics related.
Okay.
And
I
it was
got you.
during the whole Trump presidency and stuff like that. So politics was in everybody's faces all the time.
Got you. So 2025, Robert
Yes.
brings it back to life. Got it.
Yes. Yes. So moving on, Seth, what about you? Tell the folks about you.
So, I'm a mass media major, graduating in a month. Or by the time this comes out, I'll be graduating in on May 6th. I'm the digital content creator at AAT. Everything you see, me and Robert basically make. And I have my own photography and videography business. So a little subtle shout out to me, TSC Productions. Go check it out. And yeah. I kind of just gave myself a shout out, so they'll see that.
It's like, this is not about me.
No.
Yeah, it's
Even
not
though
about me.
About me.
Yeah. He also does music videos.
Yeah.
And takes family portraits.
I
Yes,
do a
he
lot
does.
of. Okay, you know what? I do a lot of stuff.
He wants to be a rapper.
I do not want to be a rapper. Hold on, this isn't about me. Chrissy, would you like to talk about yourself now?
Sure, yeah. Like I said, my name is Chrissy Brinson. I'm the owner at Advanced Auto Transfers. I've been in business for myself for about 11 years now. We have grown tremendously over the last few. My husband and I also own rental properties and stuff like that. So yeah, I just run the AAT sales team at this point.
So, how did AAT get started? Because it's been around for a minute.
Yeah, over a decade. So prior to Advanced Auto Transfers, I worked for other companies, and I felt like there was a lot of opportunity in the industry that we're in, but there was not a lot of structure in the companies that were available. And I don't know about you guys, but I need structure in my life to be able to move forward and succeed. So that was kind of the vision when I decided to open it up. I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't really know what the big picture was, but here we are.
How long has it been around? You said over a decade.
Yeah, 11 years.
Does it feel like it's been 11 years?
Yes. Yes. So if you would have asked me that 2 years ago, I would have been like, no, it's just flown by. But the team that we've created over the last 2 or 3 years has just grown and went at a pace I've never gone at before. And there was a lot of growing that I had to do myself as a business owner in order to support them. So yeah, the last few years have been chaotic and hectic, but super rewarding. Super rewarding. I've learned so much to be able to help other people, and that's really why I started the business in the first place, was to share the opportunity that I took advantage of myself as a sales rep with literally anybody else who wanted to take part in it.
So, like, people ask me all the time, like when I say I work for AAT, what does AAT do?
What do we do? So we do two things. The first, for our clients, we help new car dealerships manage their new car inventory. So we help them get inventory that they are not getting from the factory, from other dealerships. We help them get rid of stuff that they're having trouble retailing. So basically, we create this huge network across all the dealerships in the nation that they wouldn't necessarily have the time or the infrastructure in their dealership to create. So they're getting to take advantage of opportunities nationwide instead of just in their region. The second thing that we do here is more employee centered. So our sales team, they work like a well-oiled machine at this point, and we create employees who have financial freedom to do whatever it is they want to do in life. So we kind of look at coming to work, like, obviously we're here to help ourselves because that's what everybody comes to work for. But we know that in order to do that, we have to help our clients succeed. So we're looking for success for them and also success for each other in the meantime. And I think that's why we've been so successful.
Now, I will say, although I've only been here, it hasn't even been a full year yet, almost. It feels like the team that we have, as dysfunctional as we may be from time to time, I feel like we have like a very solid group of people that know how to, you know, put any kind of issues aside and focus on the main goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it has to be. So, in the past, like, I mean, we've been open for a long time now, and I've seen so many people come through and do it so many different ways. And, that was part of me and my journey was realizing if we want to get the same result, we have to create the same type of, vibe in the office. So, like, if we have a really good day and we want to be able to duplicate it, we have to figure out, how did that happen? And part of that journey was making sure that all the craziness wasn't in the office, and that there wasn't, when you say dysfunction, like, I feel like it means something totally different at this point in the game than it would have, 10 years ago. So I think the dysfunction at this point is just us, like, cutting up and having a good time together, not necessarily like, drama between employees or like crazy stuff.
Yeah, we don't have beef with each other.
Right. Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
not that I know of.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like, while, little tiffs here and there will happen, I think that at the end of the day, everybody just knows, like, hey, we're here to get a job done. And I'm not going to be successful unless you're successful. So let's just put our personal aside and do what we're here to do, which is produce.
So like, I just want to intervene right there.
Yeah. Jump
I
in here.
I feel like a lot of that like starts at the top. Like kind of working here. Like I don't know how to say it. It starts at the top, and like the energy that you give off, like it's like, yeah, put personal aside and like just do the thing.
Absolutely. I mean, we all have personal like everybody does. I mean, whether it's, stuff going on at home or like health related or whatever the case may be. And that's, why we have the same morning routine every morning. Like, everybody knows once we get started with that meeting, we start doing squats. Like, we're here to do a job. Welcome to work. You know what I mean? So, like, it's kind of like everybody's cue to drop all the stuff that happened before that, because we all have kids and, like, Kids be crazy in the mornings. So, you never know what somebody deals with first thing in the morning when they get up. Like maybe it's fighting with the kids, maybe it's fighting with a spouse, maybe it's just fighting traffic. And like when I want to make sure when they walk through the door that they know like, hey, we're here to win and this is going to be a good day regardless of how our morning has gone. So, yeah, I think you're right. That does start with me. Once I realized that as a business owner, I was able to take control of what goes down in the office and create an environment that supports that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the environment here is like great. Like kind of what I was trying to say earlier. Like just I think like the first time I stepped foot in here, like I like the environment. Like
It's a
at
vibe.
it is a vibe. That very first like group interview, um, you had us building a little paper tower, like
Yeah.
towers, and I could just tell it was a vibe
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, life is stressful enough. And who wants to come to work to a miserable job? Like, I know I can't get people to perform at the level that I need them to perform at to go further as a business if they're miserable while they're doing it. It's constantly going to be a fight. So, I just want everybody to have a good time and want to be here. I think that's the key is like I like to work myself, but I don't like to work when I'm doing something I don't love to do. So I wanted to make sure that AAT was like a good place that people could come and want to be here and want to produce and want to win and duplicate that throughout the whole office.
And see, like I can't even lie. Sometimes during the morning meetings, like y'all get me so hyped up that when we leave, like I'm ready to get on the phone and make some calls.
Yeah, like let's get on the phone and make some money. Yeah.
Like, and I don't know the first dealership on the list. I work in the whole separate office, but yeah, I'm hyped. Like, let's go make some money.
Yeah. That's what I want to do.
I be getting hyped too.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, let's get that 20% spiff.
Right. Well, I feel like also, like you mentioned the group interviews, I think that's part of the reason why they're structured the way that they are. Because, like, first off, who likes coming to an interview? Like, that's miserable for both of us. I don't like weird interviews. I know the person on the other side, like, it ends up being 21 questions if it's just like a normal thing. So, I do that group interview to make sure everybody knows what they're getting into. So like we do crazy stuff here. Like they're digging in Lucky Charms right now and doing squat walks down the hallway in the morning meeting. So don't want people who come into the office, no matter what position they're in, to be opposed to doing stuff like that. Like I hire based off of culture, not experience whatsoever.
Yeah, you told me that you hired me because you felt like I wouldn't start drama.
Yeah. I mean, legit.
And I don't
that's
keep
true.
drama in my life.
No, yeah.
Can't speak on what you thought about me.
You have drama. Yours is just not work drama.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, this ain't
to any of
wink,
Seth's
wink.
exes out there listening.
Oh my god.
We know all your business.
This part isn't making the
No, it's staying
podcast,
in there.
but no.
We love the content.
No.
Keep it
Yeah.
coming.
This part ain't making a podcast, but
This
she
is
thought
in there.
I've told you she thought I was high at every interview.
I did. I thought so. Like I'm hiring him for a creative position, right? And like
Stoned but
sometimes
sober.
when you get stoned, you just be like out there creating. So I just assumed like he was just a stoner.
He showed me the video that he sent you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I was like, man, he was high as hell when he was doing this, but it's good.
I gotta
Let's
pull
get
that
back
up.
in here.
I gotta pull it up.
So for those that don't know, like after the group interviews, if we're still interested in the position, Chrissy makes us film a video.
Yeah.
And we have to say that, we're still interested in it and like what we bring to the table and stuff like that. I went to look for my video the other day and I'm kind of happy I didn't find it because
mine is so embarrassing. I don't even look the same.
Well, here's with yours was just like a straight one-shot video.
Seth, you look like a baby in your video. You've come a long way in a year.
I have. I was kind of reminiscing the other day. I'll let the video play first.
Put that up to the mic.
Because I bring
It's so
knowledge
embarrassing.
to the table in that area, and
Not the knowledge.
Videography, photography. I couldn't even get the words out. That's embarrassing. I'm not gonna finish that. But
And you know, to be honest, I don't even watch the whole video usually because I'm like really, I'm like the instructions are I want a video that's no more than 60 seconds telling why you'd be a good fit for the position. It doesn't take 60 seconds to do that. Just like, hey, I'm eager to learn. I want to make some money with you guys. You look like you're winning. Let's go. When do I get hired? Like that takes 10 seconds. So anything after that is just fluff. And I can already tell, like, from an interview and from that first 10 seconds, whether it's somebody who will make it here in this culture, in this environment. So usually I have my mind made up at that point. That video is just a way of saying, hey, I want to continue through this and I want to come work for the company. So, you know, all that stuff that you were just rambling on about, I didn't listen to it the first time. And I don't think we should listen to it now.
Now, I will admit with my video, in my mind, I was like, this is for a content. Okay, let's give a little bit of a backstory. I applied for Seth's position
They were competing
initially, but Chrissy created a position and gave it to me.
Yeah, because I'm creative. Not stoned, but creative.
But the video that I created,
hashtag not stoned.
I went to look for it the other day, and I'm kind of grateful I didn't find it. I'm like, this is a content creator position. This will be running social media. What better way to do this than to use TikTok? And I found out that Chrissy loved TikTok, so I filmed my video.
I was a TikToker at that point, wasn't I?
Yes. I filmed my video in TikTok. I tried to add like production value to it with like background music, through some stickers and effects in there. And now I know you probably didn't even watch the whole thing.
No, I did. I watched you. So that did impress me now that you said that. Like I didn't remember that was you. But I do remember that video. So yeah, that it stood out. And really, so I feel like in business and in sales and in really any area of your life, if you want something bad enough, you'll get creative enough to get it. So like you put a lot of thought into that video and like you hit the mark because you wanted the job, like you wanted the position.
Listen, I updated my entire resume for this job. Like added the color on there, threw my picture on there, threw some graphic design examples that I did. Yeah. I wanted this job.
Y'all just gave me like a great content idea. Let's go back if we can and try to find everyone's video and then like show where they're at now, you know, like where they were when they first applied and like where they are now.
We can save ours for our 1 year anniversary.
That's coming up very soon. Like Chrissy said, like last year, I was I was reminiscing about it the other day. I was in like a totally I was in a totally different area in life. Like I think I was kind of lowballing myself on like videos and stuff like that, and like kind of just stressed out mentally, financially, and like now I'm here and in a different mindset. You know? So
yeah, and really, so I had no intentions of being a business owner. I was perfectly happy being a sales rep, making commission, and like, I mean, I made decent money at that. I feel like anybody who opens a business, anybody who hires employees, that's a whole different monster than just coming to work and having a job. And I think that that's really like what you just said is why I still come to work every day and still am involved in the business. Like I love being able to have something that I've created that I can be proud of, but it helps other people do the same thing for themselves. So when somebody works here for a year, I want them to be able to say like, hey, I've come so far over the last year and learned all of these things. And I want to be around people who are winning. And that's kind of why we work so well as an environment. Like you just, that's the vibe. Like everybody wants something more than they have at the moment. And there's no contentness across the team.
Yeah, that's really kind of like what made me like up my prices on videos. Like, just being around, like kind of coming in, being around this mindset, like, you know, we're making money, we're winners. Like being around people that are like-minded in that way.
Yeah.
It got to me, you know.
Yeah. Well, your price range attracts a different client too.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when you have low prices, you're attracting people who have low funds.
Mm-hmm.
And when you provide a quality service, even if the price is higher, like you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And people that have money know that. So, of course, they're going to flock to somebody. Like if I were to hire a photographer for an event,
Mm-hmm.
and I were to get 3 quotes, I would get rid of the first quote. That's the lowest altogether. I wouldn't even look at them. I wouldn't even care what their work looked like, because like, you don't value yourself enough to charge me, a medium price. So I know you're not going to take it as seriously as somebody who knows that their price is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I was proud of you when you did that, because that's a big step, like, because you're jumping out into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how your clients are going to react, but it worked, didn't it?
It did.
Now, I will say one aspect about like our environment that I really love, and I wish that, other businesses would take a hold of it, is the fact that, there is almost a feeling of unexpected every day. Not bad unexpected,
Yeah.
but good unexpected. Like with the t-shirt contests that we do, we designed t-shirts for like every season and every holiday and stuff. I wasn't expecting that. That was a little overwhelming because everyone came to me and Seth, because we do Photoshop.
Yeah.
But it was, I like the fact that it was creative, and that we're not just, come in, sit at your desk, get to work, clock out, go home.
Yeah. That's boring.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I like the fact that the sales team digs in Lucky Charms. They struggle to find them
Yeah.
charms, but they dig in it. And I talk about it all the time, but my favorite thing that we have ever done, it was called the box at Halloween. And actually the room that we're in is the room that the box was in, and that thing has low-key given me PTSD, because every time I step in this room, before I turn the light on, it's like I still see the plastic hanging up on the wall, and the animatronics that was sitting like in that corner. I think it was like someone from an insane asylum or something like
Yeah.
that. And I just love that, almost like that freedom,
Mm-hmm.
that creativity. I love, the fact that you could come in and we'll do squats down the hall. You can come in, we'll be bobbing for apples one day, which I don't recommend doing. Do not be the last person to do that.
Man, we had our head in so much backwash.
I don't want to think about that.
That
I
Okay,
try
but can
not
we
to think
also
about
mention
that.
the fact that everybody ate sticks of butter
Yes.
during that same
unsalted
week?
butter.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat. I shortly after that one night, I wanted some. I wanted IHOP, so I got some pancakes.
You made sure their butter was salted, didn't you?
I put them. They didn't. I know there was supposed to be syrup with it. I made sure I said to have syrup. There was no syrup, just butter. I put the butter on the pancake. Went to eat it, and it was a no go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robert's right. It's a lot of unexpectedness coming in every day, and it's very fun. Like, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It kind of starts at the top, and like, Chrissy, you like your energy is like you. I've never seen, at least I don't, as far as I know, I've never seen you on a bad day. Like, you're kind of always like smiling, kind of like always energetic, or I don't, I wouldn't, maybe not energetic, but like you're never not. Help me out, Robert. Help me.
You,
Never not.
it seems like when you do have a bad day, you don't show it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there's a big difference in what goes on in my personal life versus what goes on up here. And unless I'm like upset or, stressed out about something here, I'm never going to bring that here, because like my role is different from what it is at my house. So like before I get to work in the morning, like when I hit the parking lot, my role goes from, wife, mom, dog owner, all the other things, to like, hey, I'm at work. My job here is to set a good example for everybody at the office. And if I'm not doing that, I can't expect everybody else to do the same thing. So I'm here. I have a smile on my face, and I kind of control how my day goes from there. So, if I want the day at work to be a good day, I have to make sure that it's a good day, and I have to do things to make it a good day. So if I'm doing opposite of that, like if I'm having an attitude with anybody or frowning or like, whatever the case may be, then how can I expect my day to go any different if I'm putting in action that leads to, being miserable?
Now, I will admit there are some times, and I can read people
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. There are some days I will come in and literally, okay, for those that have never been in our office before, when you walk in towards the hallway, literally the first office that you see is Chrissy's office.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I'm clocking in, I just turn and say good morning. There's some days you say good morning, and I can tell you're very cheerful and happy, stuff is good. But then there's
Yeah.
some days you'll still say good morning in a happy tone, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, today's not one of those
Yeah.
fool around days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you've never had like attitude or anything, but it's just I can tell some days it's like today is going to be a work day.
Yeah. Like, let's get to work. And, that's what we're here to do. And on days where the workload is heavier, like I know that's what we're in for. So I just feel like, if I start the day off joking around and playing and being sidetracked and distracted on a day where there's a lot of work that needs to take place, then the next day is going to suck because I didn't get my work done from today and now I'm behind. So, it's just a matter of managing your time and managing what you're putting out there so that you can stay on track and stay, where you need to be at with your goals and not distract other people too. I think that's a big thing with a team like this. Like everybody is, loud and energetic and type A kind of
We
personality.
are all
So
characters.
yeah, and it's really easy to be the distraction, even though, maybe you have all your stuff done and you're where you need to be. That doesn't mean everybody else is either. And it's real hard to kind of balance like what you're bringing into you and your space versus what you're putting out there. So, yeah, I try to have the same good morning every morning, Robert.
You do, but I'm just saying, like I can tell some
Yeah.
days. And I realized we didn't give a backstory to what Seth was talking about. Chrissy had us doing Fear Factor last year. Well, not had us. We volunteered to do it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we signed waivers. For it.
Waivers were aside. So my favorite holiday is Halloween, and um, Christmas has a close second. I love Christmas with my family, but for the office, Halloween is number one. So we've always done crazy stuff for Halloween, and we've mentioned two things so far that I would just like to give y'all a little bit of story on because I know that y'all don't even know the story. So Fear Factor has been an October thing for a long time now, and it literally started off like this table actually that we're on today. This is the table that we started off on, and everybody gathered around it, and they could not use their hands, so they had to keep their hands behind their back, and they were blindfolded. And I would put these like little cupcake things, wrappers, in front of them for each round, and they would have to eat whatever was in it. And so it was like easy stuff like peeled grapes, like just the texture. Like it was just little stuff like that. And like whoever won, made it through the last round would get $100. Over time, that has transformed into something so much crazier
I would have
than
preferred
peeled
the peeled
grapes.
grapes.
Because the sales team was like, we're not doing none of that for $100. Like you're gonna have to up the ante if you want us to put any of that in our mouth. So like I'm like, okay, fine, $500 it is, but you're gonna have to earn it,
That stuff
So
got
now
nasty.
it's like,
Yeah.
sticks of butter, which I was not expecting that to take anybody out. Honestly, like that was round one because like y'all should have made it past that.
I would have
So-
made it past
so-
that, but we had a time limit.
Yeah.
So what it was for me is that like, okay,
It's gross. That's what it was.
It
it
tastes
didn't
like
have
solid nothing.
flavor.
Yeah.
It was just like putting just
Gunk in your teeth. Yeah, that's gross.
I
So
almost threw up, but I didn't. I just yeah.
yeah. Well, now it's disgusted. I mean, a stick of butter doesn't even sound that bad, but then there'll be like, blended up gorgonzola cheese and cilantro and baby food all together, and so like it's gross. I would never ever put any of that stuff in my mouth, and I definitely make everybody sign a waiver because you never know, and I don't want anybody going into like anaphylactic shock in front of me or something. So,
And if you're pregnant,
um,
you're not allowed to participate.
right, yeah. Any non-health issues, you're disqualified. Also the box. So the box really started off as a box. So,
Literally just like a box.
yeah, so I made a 4 foot by 4 foot PVC pipe thing, like a cube, and it was like 8 foot tall. Covered it up in like blackout curtains in the middle of the office, and I put like a tote in it, and it had those like magic water beads, and then there'd be like the spiffs inside of it, so everybody'd have to go in the little curtain thing and dig in there to get their spiff. So it was literally like a little box in the middle of the office. So the next year it grew to an 8 by 8 foot box. Still doesn't take up a lot of space. We just kind of put it in a corner. And each year it has just got out of control because I don't know what's wrong with me. Like after Halloween, I go buy a bunch of animatronic and just crazy props on clearance. Like I don't already have a whole warehouse full of them, and we just make it top the year before. So now it has grown to a whole. I don't even know
It's an
how big is this room? Like 30 by 20 or something? It's huge. It's crazy. It's
it's
like
an
a
experience.
maze. Yeah, it's like a whole haunted house now. So,
And
yeah.
it's funny you mentioned that because one of the Halloween decorations actually kind of scared me yesterday.
Okay.
Because I went to get this table and I didn't
Mm.
see it was like a head sitting on a shelf. And I just turned and there it was, and I was not prepared for it. I almost let go of the table I was holding.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad that the scares keep on scaring
But yeah, all year long.
all year.
I'm grateful though, and I think we can close with this for the first episode. I'm grateful at the fact that I got to go in the box and actually scare people as they came in.
Yeah, you made a
It
good it.
She has this 6 foot animatronic it. And it just so happened I'm 6'4". I was able to fit into the costume.
Yeah.
And by the way, the first time I saw I did not know that it moved.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the day that I was coming in to do it for the first time. And I was following you around. So all the lights and stuff were on.
Yeah.
And we turned this corner and I didn't know it was standing there. And I saw it. Like I had heard that he was in there, but I had
Right.
just never made it to that part. And so I'm following you. We're talking about what we're going to do. And first I see it and it startled me a little bit. Then I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I knew it would talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking, his eyes light up. It said something, and I'm in a conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I see him move towards me, and I almost took off.
I forget when I go in there with people. Like every year, I take part in building it. I design everything. I put together the props, so I know where everything is, and I'm so nonchalant about it. Like I'll just walk in there, and like the things don't even faze me, and I forget that they're scary. You know what I mean? Like I forget that it's terrifying to other people. Like my kids have tried to come in with the lights on and everything, and they're like, no, absolutely not, no. So
I mean, like,
I
I was
know,
okay until he moved forward.
yeah,
That's when it threw me off a
yeah.
little
Well, he's
bit.
huge.
Yes,
He's big.
it's a
Yeah,
life-size it.
yeah.
But it was hilarious, scaring folks, them tearing stuff off the walls, breaking walls.
Yeah.
Numerous times I had to bring a ladder in here. And like the way she has it set up, it literally looks like an episode of Dexter with just black plastic all over the walls.
Yeah.
And some days our sales crew gets scared to the point where they tear the plastic down.
Just run through the walls.
They did that. Well, we're going to wrap things up here. That's all we have for this first episode of How to Be a Boss. Thank you guys so much for listening. And just as like a quick recap for everything that we've talked about outside of fear factor and stuff like that. Keep in mind that your work environment, it starts at the top. Like the vibe that your office sets, the mood, and like the way your employees and everyone acts, it starts at the top. If they see you, cheerful, if they see you, uh, even on a bad day, being like motivated and ready to get things started, it will trickle down. And it's also important to be creative and to have fun at work. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to laugh. We do that all the time. We laugh at Seth all the time.
All the time.
Most definitely.
But like I said, just it all starts from the top. And I feel like Frasier, and I'm like wrapping up his radio show.
Stop it. Nobody's going to get that reference unless they're over 30.
Yeah, I didn't get that reference.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all we have for this episode of How to Be a Boss. Be sure to check in with us next week. It's going to be a new episode every Monday. It's going to be on Spotify, maybe Amazon Music Unlimited. I think they host podcasts as well. Anywhere you find a podcast, we're going to be there. So check us out next week. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll check you out next. Well, you won't. We won't check you out. You'll hear us next time.
Check us out.